Sports fans, we are live. Welcome to the Sports Behavior Podcast. I'm your host, OG the Beast. Here with me, as always, Uncle Chilltown 32 to my right. What's poppin', Unc? How you feeling?
Good tonight. We got a lot of good stuff, man. It's the best part of the season, yo. Playoffs in a couple of weeks. We got guys jockeying for position. We got the MVP race. We got the All NBA talk. Oh man, this is awesome right here. I'm digging it.
All NBA. We got MVP talks. We got everything pretty much unfolding right before our eyes right now, right here, right now. Like, everything is cracking. I can't wait. Like, I hate the fact that we got to go so long without football. Like, I can't wait for the NFL to jump off. Definitely can't wait. But we got a great show ahead of you guys. We're going to talk some Oscars. A special somebody got hands put on him for something that he said. I'm pretty sure it's been all over the news. You can't avoid it. Everybody's been talking about it. So, of course, we're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk some Bruce Arians stepping down as head coach. We got a lot to unfold. But first and foremost, shout out to those loyals over there on YouTube. Hashtag loyal base in the comments. If you rocking with us, if you rolling with us, man, if you're new to the channel, please hit that sub button. Don't forget to drop a like. It only takes a second, and it benefits us to the umpteen power ways you don't even know, man. Help our videos get noticed. Help us get out there. We appreciate every single one of you guys that tune in live on Twitch. We got some loyals in the chat. Shout out to Baby Joker. Hope y'all jump on this Giannis MVP train, he says. Hey, shout out to Darius. He'd say what up to the OGs. Reese is in the building. Kev is in the building. Ball Red is in the building. We got a first-time chatter in the building. You know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate every single one of you guys that tune in here every time we show up with that notification on your phones. But we're going to open up the show with Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? So I'm driving on my way home from work. I get a phone call. I look at the phone. Says Johnson on it. That's my cousin, for those that don't know. Shout out to my cousin Johnson. I answered. I said, "What up, cuz?" He said, "What's going on?" I say, "Nothing much. What's popping?" He said, "Giannis Antetokounmpo is the best basketball player in the league." I said, "Whoa, that's a hell of an introduction." Yeah, at least he had the decency to say what's up first and see how I was doing. But he immediately opened up with a debate style comment. Debate style. He threw it right at me. He was waiting on me to object. And I said, "You know what? I can't argue that. Like, I believe it's Kevin Durant. But if you believe it's Giannis Antetokounmpo, I'm not going to argue with you because I got him second." And then he goes to talk about Giannis's capabilities on a career-based level. And I'm like, shit, me and Unc was just talking about that like a few weeks ago about when the top 75 came out and the whole thing dropped off. We had a conversation about could he sneak into the top 10 and how many actual NBA players in history have done what Giannis Antetokounmpo has done at the age of 27 in their whole careers. Not very many. He's on a short list of all-time greats to accomplish what he's accomplished. Now, he also opened my eyes to the fact that Giannis Antetokounmpo has a opportunity to lead the league in scoring. Not only that, but become the 3-time MVP and also 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. What list of players is he on to accomplish that? All of those feats, let alone throughout a career, God forbid throughout a career, because that's also a short list. But in a single season, how many people have accomplished that in one single season? Say it again.
Jay.
That's it. One man.
That's it.
That's it. And he's on a lot of those short lists where it only contains one man, which is another undisputable reason why I believe Michael Jordan is the GOAT, because every single thing you bring up when it comes to accolades is always involving Michael Jeffrey Jordan. But that's neither here nor there. We're going to say that to another argument. That's an argument I can have all day, all night long, because I ain't budging. But Giannis Antetokounmpo has the Milwaukee Bucks, second seed in the East? Half a game out of first place, and the Miami Heat got first, if I'm not mistaken. Giannis is right behind him, and I think he is making a serious push for MVP. He's second in scoring behind LeBron James. I think they tied. I think they both averaged 30.1. He's second. Why, though? Because I think they
No,
both
that's
average
not
the
true.
same.
Just after last night, that's correct. After last night, they're both at 30 a game, 30.1 a game,
They
both of
both
them.
at 30.1, and Embiid is
That's
behind them with
correct.
like 30.0 or some shit like that. So
I
it's a
think.
tight knit race. I don't think it's a coincidence LeBron sitting his ass down with that 30.1. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, if I come back and I drop 26, that could drop to, 30.0. Now Giannis is leading. So I think LeBron may come back, but man, I don't know. He's gonna be fighting to keep that scoring title, and that's part of his quote unquote narrative that he wants to push at this age, with the Lakers being as garbage as they are. The one thing he can hang his hat on is the 37-year-old scoring title. He'd be the oldest to do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's something he'd be able to hang his hat on. But Giannis Antetokounmpo is making a serious case to be consensusly known as the best player in the NBA right now. What you think, Unc?
Well, you and me had this conversation before the season started. Rewind the clock back to October, and you and me had this conversation where I said to you, I think Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's the best. He's the best player in the game today.
You did.
I said that to you, and you were telling me about Kevin Durant. You were telling me about James. You were telling me about Steph Curry, and I said Giannis is the best player in the game. I had no problem when I was listening to people talk to me about Joker being the league MVP. I got no problem with it, and the reason why I got no problem with it is because what you're telling me now, when you do that, is you telling me that we taking winning out the game. It's all about numbers. So if that's going to be the case, then that's what it's going to be moving forward. Because your 26, 14, and 8 is not more valuable than a dude that's 30, 12, and 6 on a second place team. It's not. And there's nothing you can say to convince me of that. I look at Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think he's the best player in the game. And he didn't just become the best player in the game this year. We're talking about a dude, there was a maturation process. Giannis, in the 18-19 season, he wins the league MVP, right? He wins the defensive player of the year. In the 19-20 season, he wins the league MVP. So now it's starting to become a conversation. He might not be there yet because Durant still is who he is. James is still who he is. Curry still is who he is. He is one of the most complete basketball players on both sides of the ball. Leonard still is who he is, right? So he ain't there yet because he still had gotten himself in a difficult situation where we saw them against Milwaukee against Toronto in the East Finals, and nobody was really saying, even after Giannis had won the league MVP, nobody was saying, yo, this dude is the best player. Yeah. Nobody was saying that, but we were starting, after he won it back-to-back years, and then he won that defensive player of the year, well, we now starting to have that conversation.
Especially after he won the title.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. We ain't get to that yet. We're not there yet. We're just having that conversation. So now, the next year, they end up losing in the playoffs to the Miami Heat. He got hurt. I think it would have been a different series had he not gotten hurt. But he got hurt. So we had a different series. So the next year, they win the NBA championship, and he wins the finals MVP. Not just the NBA championship. Now he wins the finals MVP. Now, not only are we having this conversation, now it's legit. I've already worked my way up to this. He's the best player on the planet. And I said that right from the beginning of this season. No doubt. And I stand on that. Now, I think that he's the league MVP. I said to you also that I thought that it's his award to lose. Even when they were up and down, because you had Middleton in and out of the lineup. He was on, I think he was in COVID protocol. Drew Holiday had gotten hurt. And he was still holding that unit together. They were right around the 4th, 5th seed. And they were still rolling. And I still felt like, because it wasn't that far apart, it wasn't like it is in the Western Conference where Memphis is, I think they like 6 or 7 games behind Phoenix for the first place.
Right.
The Eastern Conference, it was only separated when you're talking about the 4 or 5, I think from 2 to 5. It was only separated at that time by like maybe 3 or 4 games. So it's pretty close. So I'm thinking to myself, as long as he can stay close and then maybe move into that top 3, I was thinking it's Giannis's award to lose. Now we're at a point where they're a half game out of first, and he's not playing better than everybody else. He is better than everybody else.
Yeah.
And what I saw last night confirmed that. I already felt like that anyway. Last night just confirmed it.
To be honest with you, I was trying to switch back and forth between that and the Bulls game, but my Bulls was on, and that game was very spicy, and I couldn't see myself turning this tube off. We was down 24 with 5 minutes left on the clock, and DeMar DeRozan just said, give me the ball and get the hell out of my way. Man, it's just shades of Kobe Bryant, shades of Michael Jordan, that dog killer mentality. that I play at my own pace and get to my spot and get what I want. I just couldn't turn that off. But I did catch glimpses of the step back. What did I tell you about Giannis? The step back three to send the game to OT. It's like if that man implements that in his game on a consistent basis, hold your head and look out. Because Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to take over for the next decade, and it won't be close. I don't give a damn who you mention at that point because of the biggest discrepancy is the defensive side of the ball because he's arguably the best defensive player in the league, and he's the most dominant player on offense. So it's like, as a complete player, who could you counteract that with? Kawhi Leonard is the only person that comes to mind with the scoring capabilities of Giannis, not so much the dominance, but he's improved all around wise with the rebounds and the assists. His assist totals have jumped up ever since he's left the Spurs, and he's had to become more of a facilitator for others. You know, in that role, he's embraced it, and you could tell Kawhi's game has improved, but Giannis is on another level.
You said this to me, and I almost fell off my chair, not because I thought it was nuts, but because I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, I won't be able to handle that. You said to me, your comparison was, this is a more athletic, thinner Shaq. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no way anybody will be able to handle that. If I'm looking at a more athletic, thinner version of Shaquille O'Neal, with a work ethic, shut the league. None of you dudes have a chance against him. Because we're talking about a dude that's more skilled, more athletic, run like a deer, cleans glass, is an elite defender. You got no shot. If that's going, if that's the comparison and that's going on, which is what it looks like, you got no shot. And now, don't get me wrong. I mean, last night he had 8 turnovers, which I think he'd like to take that back. But those 44-14 last night, we needed Milwaukee needed every last bit of that in order to beat Brooklyn. Every last bit of it to beat them. But watching that game last night, I can confirm, for myself specifically, Giannis Antetokounmpo was the best player on the floor, and it wasn't a question.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. I don't think it's a question that Giannis was the best player on the floor last night, even though Kevin Durant was a few inches to the left short of putting the dagger in their heart. But, you know, it is what it is. Shit happens. You know, Kevin Durant did all he could in this game to try to secure the victory. But not New Orleans. I was going to call them New Jersey. Brooklyn got some questions to answer, man. You know, they probably the scariest team in the playoffs due to the positioning. I think they like the 8th seed right now with 5 games left in the season. The play-in starts on the 12th. So it's like, that's scary as hell. Who wants to see Brooklyn in the first round? Usually if you're a top seed, you get in the break if you're seeing 6, 7, 8.
Right.
Who the hell wants to see Brooklyn? You know what I'm saying? Like,
first of all, Brooklyn is not an 8 seed. I mean, KD was out for 2 months. You're talking about Kyrie Irving, who was in and out of the lineup.
Greatest 8 seed of all time.
It kind of reminds me of the Knicks in '99. Like, that wasn't the 8 seed. I mean, Sprewell was in and out of the lineup. Allen Houston was hurt. Ewing blew up his Achilles. So we're talking about a great New York Knicks team that was more like a 3-4 seed. Well, it's the same thing with this Brooklyn team. Before KD went out the lineup, even with Kyrie coming in and out of the lineup, they still was in first place, and he was leading the league in scoring.
Facts.
They was at the top of the Eastern Conference. So I think that the problem that we have, and when you're talking about the trade deadline and the new guys that they brought in, and with Ben Simmons coming over, I think that the issue that everybody is having with Brooklyn, me in particular, is the continuity effort, the continuity that they have, that they're going to have, and the short amount of time that it's going to take for them in order to get that thing working. Because in the playoffs, you don't have a lot of time to get it together. Either you got it together or you don't.
Facts. They're going to have to do something, and they're going to have to do something very quickly. Like, they're going to have to figure it out because they ain't got a lot of time. But shout out to Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's straight balling right now. He's 30, 12, and 6 on 50-something% from the field, 30% from 3, which will improve with time. I see him taking these shots. So I'm not mad at 30% from 3 when you averaging 30. Like, if you Russell Westbrook giving me 18, 6, and 6, and you shooting 30% from 3, I have a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? So especially when you're not shooting 52, 53% from the field. You're shooting 41% from the field and 65% from the free throw line. Like, get it together, Westbrook. But he's been playing better as of late. But shout out to Giannis Antetokounmpo. He has an opportunity to pull off something special. Be the first player since Michael Jordan to win the scoring title, to win the Defensive Player of the Year, and the league MVP all in the same season. All in the same season. That's magnificent. But let's move on to some NFL, man. Bruce Arians steps down as head coach. Now, I'm not sure if he's retiring or if he's taking a job in the front office. I've heard a little bit of both, and I'm not sure if taking a job in the front office is, quote-unquote, retiring as a head coach. Don't know how that works. But to me, if you're still affiliated with football, are you really retiring as a head coach? I don't know. But Bruce Arians has been getting some mixed reviews when it comes to him stepping down. People questioning the real legit reason why he chooses to step down as a pretty prestigious head coach, especially over the last few years. They've had some success over there in Tampa Bay. Even when Jameis was there, they had a little bit of success. They, air raid offenses doing this thing. But Bruce Arians decides to step down as the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when Tom Brady says he's returning. It kind of raised red flags. People saying, him and Tom had a bad relationship, so he kind of stepped down to kind of get out of the way of Tom Brady because they wasn't seeing eye to eye. It was even rumored that when offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich and Tom Brady would get together to draw up a game plan, Bruce Arians would go over the game plan that they drew up and X out some shit that he didn't like. And implement what he wanted on top of what they already had. So it's like overruling them. I heard some rumors about that. But to be honest with you, here's my take on it. Bruce Arians is a coach that has implemented diversity into the NFL single-handedly. He honestly believes in not only second chances, but giving minorities chances. This man has 11 coaches, 11 black coaches on his staff. 11. Most in the league by far. Also, 2 female coaches on the roster. He hired 2 women, 2 ladies. First coach to ever do that, giving opportunities where opportunities aren't welcome. Nobody wants to see a female on the sideline, right? Especially in an NFL game. Well, Bruce Arians says otherwise. I'm going to give these ladies the same opportunity that everybody else deserves. So as a white guy who has 11 African Americans on his staff on purpose, I'm all for it. Creating diversity in the NFL. And I believe he stepped down to give Todd Bowles a second shot. Todd Bowles was the head coach of one of the worst run franchises in NFL history, in the New York Jets. When have you ever heard the New York Jets being any type of relevant in NFL history? Joe Namath in the 60s? Probably the last time you heard, or 70s rather? That was probably 60s. That was probably the last time you heard of any relevancy from the New York Jets.
Well, they was in the AFC Championship in back-to-back seasons in 10 and 11.
Sanchez
when they had Sanchez,
and Thomas Jones, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
They had they beat the Patriots a couple of times too. They had a spike right there. Outside of that, Vinny Testaverde, when Brett Favre went there and threw 25 picks. I mean, there really hasn't been too much relevancy for the Jets. Todd Bowles takes their head coaching job and gets fired after 1 season. Was it his fault? Well, we could evidently see now that it definitely was not his fault. So Bruce Arians is putting these guys in winning situations, proving that you could win with African-American coaches on your roster, which is, believe it or not, a lot of people do not believe to be true. It's evident. How many African-American coaches do we got in the league?
Even today.
Even today. It's sickening. But Bruce Arians, as a white head coach, went out of his way to put African-American coaches and females in position of power, in position of control. I believe he stepped down to give Todd Bowles a legitimate shot. Moves from defensive coordinator to head coach now in a situation where they have an opportunity to win the Super Bowl with Tom Brady. Give Todd Bowles a chance to coach Todd Brady like everybody else be falling into these great situations. So that's my take on it. I believe Bruce Arians literally stepped down because he's accomplished what he wanted to accomplish as a head coach, and he's giving Todd Bowles a chance and an opportunity. Not only Todd Bowles an opportunity to be in a winning situation, but this also has an opportunity to erase the narrative behind Byron Leftwich. The same thing Leftwich is Eric Bieniemy in Kansas City is going through with Andy Reid. Well, they say, Andy Reid is the one drawing up the plays. He's the mastermind. Eric Bieniemy is just riding his coattail. That's the stipulation. That's the rumor.
Right.
That's the narrative, right?
Which isn't true. Which isn't true.
So
This is
now
not true.
Bruce Arians eliminates himself from the equation because the narrative is Bruce Arians writes the plays. He's the last line. He's the last line to decide what the game plan is and what we execute out on the field. So with him eliminating himself, now that air raid offense becomes Byron Leftwich's. So now we know for sure the plays is coming from Byron Leftwich. It ain't coming from Todd Bowles. He's a defensive-minded coach. So we know for sure Byron Leftwich is running this offense, and that's going to create a great opportunity for not only Todd Bowles, but also Byron Leftwich. What you think about it, Don?
Now, if I'm not mistaken, are we not just 2 years removed from them winning the Super Bowl?
No doubt.
That's first of all. And everything was fine 2 years ago. We didn't hear any of this logic about him and Tom Brady having a rift. Now, I can appreciate the logic that, when everybody's winning, everything is fine. But even when everybody's winning, we still hear rifts. Whether it's a small rift, whether it's a large rift, we still hear that. But we didn't hear any of that between coach and player. We didn't hear any of that between Bruce Arians and Tom Brady. And the reason why we didn't hear that is because there was none.
Right.
We would have heard something, right? I think we would have absolutely heard something. But let me ask you this question real quick. What would make you, if you had a problem with somebody at your job, what would make you quit your job in favor of this person? I'm not going that far where I'm quitting. I can't stand this dude this much that I'm quitting my good job. No, that's not the case at all. We got to take under consideration Bruce Arians is 70 years old, man.
Exactly.
I've been doing this for 50 years.
You know what's crazy?
At every level.
Don't look 70 at all.
No, he does not. No, he does not. Not only does he not look 70, he looked like he had the cookout too.
I'm telling you, he aging like a brother, ain't he?
He looked like he had the cookout. He's standing over there with a Corona, kicking it with and he absolutely doing that. But when I also look at this Tampa Bay unit, I also look at a unit that was in disarray last year, right? It's bad enough. I remember the press conference with him talking about Antonio Bryant, which he just looked like he was seething. And what I mean when I say that, Chris, is he really wanted to say, I didn't want this dude in the beginning, but I let y'all talk me into this nonsense. Mm-hmm. And now I got sucked in, and now this is what's happening, which I knew was going to happen in the first place, but I let y'all suck me into it anyway, and now here we are. But instead, he was real short about it, and he was real professional about it. That's first of all. Add that to the fact that they had an array of injuries. They lost Godwin. That defensive line was decimated. So, of course, you're going to get a different result than you had the year before.
No doubt.
Add that to the fact that I'm getting older. I've been doing this 50 years now. This has nothing to do with me and Tom Brady. I've coached some of the best quarterbacks ever. I coached Andrew Luck. I coached Tom Brady. I coached Ben Roethlisberger. And you never heard any issues with me and any of these guys. So what makes you think that at the age that I'm at now, all of a sudden I'm going to have a problem with Tom Brady when you've never heard me have a problem with? I think that people are fishing for something that isn't there, and they're trying to turn this into something that it isn't. And I completely disagree with it. I have no problem with what Coach Arians did with him stepping down and giving Todd. Because to be honest with you, I thought Todd Bowles was over.
Me too.
I really did. I thought he was over when he got let go. When he got let go in Los Angeles, I thought he was over. I really did. I thought he was finished, and I thought that he would not get another opportunity as a head coach. And to get Byron Leftwich to step aside, maybe because I can get with that logic, maybe to showcase how good Byron Leftwich is. Because remember, Chris, head coaches, we do have to go over the game plan. Right. And there are some things that we're going to disagree about. All right, I don't like this against this defense. Well, wait a minute, coach, what about, no, I don't like that, or I do like this. So we're going to go back and forth about some things. I'm not just giving you free reign to just come up with whatever it is. No, I'm going to have some say-so in it. Right. However, when I think about Bruce Arians as a coach, he's going to give you an opportunity to do your thing. Mm-hmm. He ain't just hiring you to save face because you black. Right. He ain't just hiring you to save face because you're a woman. You better know what the hell you're doing.
Exactly.
When you're on his staff.
No doubt.
That's why he's putting you on. So
yeah,
I think I completely disagree with the narrative that is something else. No, yeah, I completely disagree.
And not only that, to piggyback off of that, like I stated, he's putting you on because you know your shit. We just going to give you an opportunity to showcase that you do. And then you hear the narrative that, hey, Bruce Arians is really running the show. Leftwich is just riding his coattails. Like I mentioned, Eric Bieniemy, prime example. There's no reason in hell Eric Bieniemy should not be a head coach right now. No reason in hell. Winning a Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes, him as the offensive coordinator, there's no way in hell Eric Bieniemy should not have a job, but he doesn't. And I don't know. Maybe it could be because of the color of his skin. Maybe they don't feel like he's qualified enough. But there were a lot of young
I haven't gotten a
coaches.
satisfactory answer neither. I have not. I'd be lying to you if I said I have not. No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I really don't understand it. But to be honest with you, shout out to Bruce Arians, man. Because I don't know the full reason. Nobody really knows, but Bruce Arians. I legitimately think he stepped down at a time where Todd Bowles has an opportunity to coach Tom Brady and could have some success on his resume. You know, and just having that on your resume is a big deal. And Bruce Arians has accomplished enough in his league. He knows he knows what doing this could do for not only Bowles, but for the other guys on the staff, and most importantly, Leftwich, and getting a head coaching job somewhere else potentially next season. You know, knowing that
Let me put this on your mind, though. Would it be if Tom Brady and Bowles had success? Because it's almost one of those damn if you do, damn if you don't situations. So if Todd Bowles ends up having success with Brady, and let's say they go back to the bowl game, is Todd Bowles going to get well, you had Brady, so that's why you were so good. Let's see what you could do without Brady, which is nonsense.
Yeah, I mean, you could say the same thing about Bill Belichick. He didn't have that much success without Tom Brady, but people like to call him the greatest of all time. You could say the same thing about Pat Riley. You know, all the talent that he's had on his rosters. You could say the same thing about Greg Popovich, 5 Hall of Famers throughout his career. You could say the same thing about Phil Jackson. What would Phil Jackson be without Kobe and Mike? That's all his rings right there. So you could make a legitimate case like that for everybody, vice versa. Any all-time great head coach. So Todd Bowles having his success, I say damn what you think and damn what you say. The numbers say I went to the bowl. This record say I went to the bowl. And if Tom Brady puts up another historic season like he did last year, damn near 5,000 yards, 40 touchdowns, they going to say, who was calling them plays? Leftwich? Hey, yo, we might want parts in that. You know what I'm saying? But Leftwich, if I'm you, I'm not moving unless it's for a head coaching job. And that's real talk.
Now, let's remember too, because I know you're real critical of Jameis Winston, and, you know, he was the pick 6 king that year and led the league in interceptions. Let's make sure we remember, too, he didn't lead the league in touchdowns that year, and he did throw for 5,000 yards. So it wasn't like it was a complete wash. Right. So
it was still a decent season. It's just he turned the ball over a whole lot. He
turned the ball a lot.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yes, he did. Absolutely.
But that's neither here nor there. Shout out to Bruce Arians, man. I like what you did. Whether you did it for Bowles and Leftwich or you did it for yourself, I mean, it's a great gesture to begin with. Any way you slice the pie. But let's shoot back to the NBA. I want to play a little game. Right? I'm going to name 2 guys, and I want you to tell me who's better. Contingency. The contingency is I don't give a damn about production.
Here we go.
I don't give a damn about production because you value production.
Here we go.
I value skill. You value production. I value skill, right? Because you say, how skilled are you if your skill doesn't equate to production, or if you can't be gauged from your production, which I couldn't disagree with that take more.
Why though? Before you go any further, why?
This is why. Yes, your skill equates to production, but just because your skill set hasn't equated to production to the level of somebody that's less skilled than the person that it didn't equate to, doesn't mean that the person with the production is better than the person without the production. That's what I mean when I say that. If that made any sense. Meaning.
But keep going.
I give a comparison. We was on the show last week with Fluent, and we was talking about how Kevin Durant never averaged 40 or never had a 50-point game or any shit like that, right? Or never had a 60, whatever the argument was.
It was 60.
Never had a 60-point game or nothing like that. But guys like Kyrie have. Does that make Kyrie a better scorer than Kevin Durant because his production indicated that he could score more points? Yes or no?
Is Kyrie a better scorer? Well, there's plenty of guys who've had 60 that aren't better scorers than Kevin Durant. Right. No, I don't think so.
That's the whole point, that just because Kyrie was able to showcase he could put up 60, which would equal the production that you're talking about, does not mean that Kevin Durant isn't still more skilled than Kyrie Irving, because to me, Kevin Durant is a top 3 most skilled offensive player ever. But he doesn't have the numbers that indicate that. Look at Larry Bird. He doesn't have the numbers all time to indicate that he should be anywhere near close to the 6th best player, 7th best player of all time. But he's there. I'm not saying production. I'm not saying accolades. I'm just saying career numbers. Larry's career numbers ain't eye-popping like – because his career was short-lived. So his career numbers ain't on the level of Jordan's, or they're not on the level of even Magic. Magic played 12 seasons, even though he's top – what is he, top 3 in assists? No. Magic is, what, top 5? Where's he at?
He's 6 now.
Somebody nudged him out.
Yeah.
Chris Paul?
Yeah, he's number 6 now. Yeah, he's number 6 now.
Yeah, so it's like – and he's the greatest passer of all time. So just because you produce the most at that, and I think you taking that stance because you low key trying to represent for LeBron James. Just because
I'm not. Okay.
Or your other favorite player, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Here we go. Okay.
Because they not the most skilled players, but they produce. Okay. I want to hear you.
Right. Okay, so let's discuss this skill, production, results. Okay, your skill. Let me make sure I'm explaining this to you.
Please.
So we are clear.
Please
right?
Do.
Your production is a result. I'm sorry, winning is a result of your production. Your skills are what your skills are what enhances your production. So without your skill set, you can't produce. Now anybody can get 60. Right? Anybody can get 50. Anybody can get going on any night. No question about that. But to continuously do that on a nightly basis. So, for example, I look at Kevin Durant as a scorer, right? You're the first one to talk to me about having that like Kobe Bryant and quote unquote putting your nuts on the concrete.
And rolling.
Kevin Durant lets guys off the hook. Plenty of times where he could go 60, 50, 60. I never said that Kevin Durant wasn't skilled. I think Kevin Durant is one of the most skilled guys he's one of the 5 best scorers that I've ever seen. But when I think about your skill set, right? Your production is your skill set produces what your skill set produces. Let me make sure I'm getting that correct so we clear. Your skills equal your production. The result of that is winning and losing. So when I look at a guy like Kyrie Irving, when I look at a guy like Jordan, when I look at a guy in terms of being an offensive player, their skill set, their ability to pass, their ability to play make, their ability to score. Mm-hmm. I can't give the edge to Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant just because you're super nice with the pill. That doesn't work with me. It does not work with me at all. And the reason why it doesn't work with me is because what is that leading to? What is going, because I'm not saying just one time, I'm talking about ultimately, what is that leading to? And what's going on? Where are we going with this? Because if Kyrie Irving, as nice as he is with the pill, because I've just about had it with the Kyrie Irving is the most skilled player. I have had it listening to that. I'm not listening to that anymore, that he's the most skilled. Because when I think about the most skilled, I think about what you do overall as an offensive player. Kyrie Irving might be one of the he's the best ball handler that I've ever seen.
Me too.
And he's one of the best finishers at the rim. Not just at that size, just overall. He's one of the best finishers that I've ever seen. But there's so much more that goes into being an offensive player. IQ goes into that. Your ability to play make, your ability to pass. And if you're talking about Kyrie Irving at the top of that list, his production needs to show that, and it doesn't.
Okay, but that doesn't necessarily diminish his skill set. If somebody else has produced more than Kyrie Irving, that doesn't make them more skilled. That's my point.
That's exactly what it means.
No, it doesn't. It just makes them more. It just makes
productive.
Right. That doesn't.
Which means that my skill set produced more. My skill set produced more than your skill set.
Right.
So with my skill set producing more than yours, and it resulted more in whether it's winning titles, whether it's winning league MVPs, your skills haven't shown what my skills have shown. Period.
So basically, you're trying to tell me Giannis Antetokounmpo is more offensively skilled than Kyrie Irving because he averages more points?
I think Kyrie Irving is nicer with the pill. I don't think he does nearly as much on offense as Giannis Antetokounmpo.
So that's indirect. Be direct.
No, it's
Put
not.
your nuts on the concrete. That's very indirect. Put your nuts on the concrete. So you're telling me Giannis Antetokounmpo is more skilled offensively than Kyrie Irving. Is that what you're telling me?
I ain't telling you that.
Okay.
You're trying to put words in my mouth.
Oh, I'm not. I just want a direct answer
not.
because using your logic,
Mm-mm.
that's what you would be saying. Using your logic. Because production equals.
I tell you what. Offensively, he's more productive than Kyrie Irving.
No doubt.
Offensively, he is.
No doubt.
Absolutely,
that's not what I asked you.
That's not what you asked me. But offensively, he's more productive. His skill set. I think that Kyrie Irving is a better ball handler. I think that Kyrie Irving, I will give him the edge as a better mid-range jump shooter as of right now. And I give him the edge as a better.
He's a better.
He's
finisher.
not a better finisher. He's not a better finisher than Giannis.
Giannis is a more dominant finisher, but Giannis cannot get to that basket with either hand. Giannis has one move. If he goes left, he's spinning back right. That's his move. He rarely finishes with his.
True.
Giannis. So Giannis finishes as often with his left as Kyrie.
Giannis finishes with his left, no question about that. Giannis absolutely does.
Better than Kyrie?
No doubt about that.
Giannis,
I didn't say better, but I said he does finish with his left hand.
That's part of finishing.
With both hands. He finishes with both hands. He finishes with his left hand and he finishes with his right hand. Just as strong. Okay. No doubt about that. And he gets to the basket at that size, at 6'10",
no doubt.
With the best of them.
Oh, no doubt about it. I agree 100%.
No question about that.
So now
He's not just bowling guys over. Giannis does use moves to get to the basket. Absolutely, he does.
One or two,
now,
and that's all you need.
Kyrie Irving is more crafty. I think Kyrie Irving is craftier than Giannis. No question. I do believe that. But when I think about overall production, and I think about his ability to produce more, I think that Giannis is definitely better.
Okay, production, because Giannis has proven to produce more than Kyrie. But that's not my question. My question, with the skill set that he possesses, but just because he possesses a certain skill set that led to more production than Kyrie's skill set, that doesn't mean his skill set is better. That just means it worked better for Giannis. So then I ask you. I'm asking you flat out. This is a very simple question, and you keep.
So who would you? I would rather have Giannis than I would rather have Irv.
That's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you. That's not what I'm asking. Who's a better offensively skilled player, Giannis Antetokounmpo or Kyrie Irving? It's very simple.
I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say.
It's a very simple question because I got you in that corner, and now you want
to. I'm not dancing.
So stop there. Give me an answer.
I just told you I'm going with Giannis because he gives me more. Because he produces more. That's why I'm going with
Giannis.
The
only reason why you said that is because it fits your narrative right now. You know damn well.
No, because he produces more. That's why.
You know damn well Giannis Antetokounmpo is not a more skilled offensive player than Kyrie Irving. You know damn well.
Hold on. So let me make sure I'm getting this correct. Irv is nicer with the pill, right? Irv is nicer with the pill. Irv got a better mid-range.
A better shot. You don't even got to narrow it. He's a better finisher. He's a better shooter. He's a better ball handler.
No, he's not. I'll give you the ball handling part. I think he's better with the pill. I think Giannis is a better passer. I think Giannis is a better playmaker. I think Giannis is a better finisher. When you talk about
playmaker,
skill,
that's it.
Smarter. I think Giannis is smarter.
You think Giannis
that matters too, by the way.
You think Giannis's IQ is higher than?
I do. Absolutely, I do. Yes, I do. I do believe that. Yes, I do. No doubt. I do believe
the only thing that Giannis does better on the offensive side of the ball than Kyrie Irving is facilitate, and that's close. Just because Kyrie Irving don't average 6 assists like Giannis Antetokounmpo doesn't mean he can't facilitate. Because I've seen him drop multiple dimes. Well, he can facilitate, but his role on the squad is to score the pill. There's no way in hell Giannis Antetokounmpo is more skilled on the offensive side of the ball than Kyrie Irving. You're saying that because it fits your narrative of production.
So what does Irv do better than? So we just got finished talking about this. Let me make sure I'm getting this correct. Irv nicer with the pill, correct?
Yes, he's a better shooter. You don't even have to break it down. Shooter, period.
So he's nicer with the pill.
Way
he's a better shooter.
Not close shooter.
Okay, so what else?
He's a better finisher.
He's not.
English, either hand, penetration to the basket, English in either hand. Giannis is a more dominant finisher. Kyrie Irving is a way more Yes. Giannis is a more dominant. He's going to impose his will. He's going to what did James Harden say? I wish I could be 7 feet. All you got to do is just bulldoze people to the basket and just dunk the ball on 2 dribbles.
If that's what he was doing, then how come everybody else ain't doing it? Because
everybody's not 7 feet, 250 pounds with a 7'6" wingspan, and the abilities that he has athletically. Have you ever seen a more athletically gifted person than Giannis Antetokounmpo? Never.
Well, absolutely, James is that kind of athlete.
Not at 7 feet.
He's 6'9", but okay, even still,
who's 6'9"?
James ain't bit of 6'9".
Right, I said at 7 feet like Giannis.
But Giannis ain't 7 feet. Giannis is 6'10". Giannis is 6'10".
Giannis is a legit 7 feet.
What we doing is we going off the rails here. I watch Giannis, how much his skill set has improved since he first got to the league. So Giannis isn't one of these guys who is one-dimensional or two-dimensional or three-dimensional. Giannis is a complete basketball player on the offensive end of the bat, on the offensive end of the floor. Giannis is able. He can't shoot the 3-ball, like I said. He can't shoot the 3-ball or the mid-range like Irv. No, he can't do that. But he's respectable now. He's at a point now where he's respectable. And his ball handling has improved tremendously.
No doubt.
That's all I'm giving you. That's all I'm giving you when it comes to Irv. He is not a better finisher.
But the difference is when you say Kyrie's a better shooter, it's by such a long mile that it shouldn't even be a discussion. It's not close. Like, playmaking is close for Giannis and Kyrie. Finishing is close for Giannis and Kyrie. Shooting is the biggest discrepancy. It's not close. So I don't understand how you can make a legitimate argument just because Giannis has averaged 30 and Kyrie hasn't. That makes him a better scorer? That makes him a better offensive player?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because when I think about Irv as a shot creator, right, then that comes back to his ability to handle the basketball and be a shot creator. Giannis as a shot creator, I think that Irv is craftier. I already said that I think he's craftier. And when I think about Giannis, how much he has improved.
Yeah.
It's not even a question of how much better he is today.
No doubt.
As a shot creator. Giannis isn't just putting his head down and going to the basket. Giannis got the one dribble pull up to the left. Giannis got the one dribble pull up to the right. Giannis is on the box working guys over. Now, just so you know, you have to be skilled in all facets being an offensive player. Just because you're nice with the peel, that's not enough, man. That's not
just
enough.
Being nice with the peel, Unc. Do you see the array of moves? This man is in a post, backing folks down, shooting 15-foot fadeaways. It's not just nice with the peel.
I got that too.
It's just nice. I got that too. It's not from 15 feet. It's more from 8 to 12 feet, and it's not as consistent as Kyrie's. Giannis is coming, but he ain't there yet when it come to offensive array of moves. He's on his way. People still sag off Giannis. Ain't nobody in the National Basketball Association sagging off Kyrie Irving on no aspect of the game. If he touches the ball
actually they are, and the reason why they are is because I got to give up something. If I crowd him, I'm gonna get burnt. So I can't do that. So I'm gonna have to give up something. I'll give up the 18-footer. I'll give up the long ball, because if I crowd this dude, he's so nice with the ball that I'm gonna get burnt. So at some point, I'm gonna have to channel him to one side, and I'm gonna have to give him some room, because he's too good with the ball that I can't crowd him.
But it's a difference, though, Unc. It's a difference when somebody forcing you to the strong side defender versus somebody literally sagging off, begging you to shoot the three like they do Giannis, because he's shooting at 30%. Meanwhile, Kyrie is a 40+% three-point shooter and a 50+% field goal shooter. So it's like, you can't give up nothing.
We've already established that. Well, we've already established that he's a better shooter. I won't argue that. I will not argue that.
It's not that you won't.
I will not. It's physically impossible. I will not argue that. Absolutely not will I argue that. But when I talk about an overall skill set, his ability to play make, his ability to pass, Giannis handling the ball in transition at that size, at that speed, because it's not simple just getting the ball off the backboard and going in transition like Giannis does. Now, once again, I can't argue the other stuff. But when you talk about an overall skill set, who would I rather have? I would rather have Giannis and what he's producing. Absolutely, I would.
Oh, I would take Giannis's production over Kyrie's production any day of the week, but that don't mean he's more skilled offensively. If I'm going to the court and I'm outside, whose skill would I rather have? If I see Giannis and I see Kyrie, I'm taking Kyrie. On the offensive side of the ball, it's not even a question. Like, people make arguments. People make legitimate arguments like, is Giannis even a skilled player? Like, is he?
Which is nuts to me, because there's no way you can even make that argument. No way.
I just feel like, legitimately, skill and production are two different things, even though they correlate, sometimes correlate, because your skill is what inevitably causes you to produce whatever you produce. So just
Right.
because but just because somebody produces more than somebody else does not mean that they more skilled than that person. You have to separate the two. Even it's an
So if that's true,
oxymoron.
that means that I'm using my skills. If I'm producing more, that means that I'm using my skill set in a better way than you're using your skill set.
Okay.
That's what that
That's
means.
fine. But that doesn't mean your skill set is better than mine just because you produced and I didn't. If I could look at you.
That's what makes it worse. The fact that you
identifying skill set isn't always equivalent to numbers. Sometimes it's eye test. You have to use that when you're evaluating talent. You can't always go off the numbers. So when you're talking about strictly skill set, I'm not talking about what your skill set has. Well, this guy won a championship, so he's better. No, that's not the case.
Nope. No, we're not doing that.
It's literally when I watch the game, I don't care about the numbers. If these guys didn't have names on the back of their jerseys, when I look at Kyrie Irving, I say he knows some shit. He ain't nobody moving like this cat. Ain't nobody dribbling, handling, getting to their spots, mid-range, long range, finishing with either hand with English. I've never seen a basketball player with such creative touch around the basket as Kyrie ever in my life. Like I was looking at Derrick Rose the other day at some highlights of Derrick Rose. I said Derrick Rose was so strong and he had English around the basket. And that's who I kind of look at, like the way he used to finish was so underrated, especially for his size. He was so dynamic.
Right.
But then you look at a guy like Kyrie, it's like Derrick Rose couldn't shine Kyrie's shoes. And I love Derrick Rose.
And I absolutely can appreciate that because that's how I came to the conclusion early about Derrick Rose and Russell Westbrook when I watched them. Right? When I watch, because the eye test only goes so far.
Right.
The eye test can only go so far. After I see you, okay, now what is this leading to? When I watch, because this is pointless when you telling me that he's more skilled than he is when it's not leading to anything. I don't care about your skill set when it's not leading to anything. I don't care.
That's the way you see production. You don't care. But that's not what I'm asking you. That's why I'm saying, yes, even if you care or not, you can't ignore it. So, because
I can't. That's a fact. That is a fact.
That's what I'm saying. And that's my only point. It's like, okay, well, since this guy, even though this guy's more skilled than that guy produces more, so I'm gonna give the nod to him. That's not but we can't ignore. Basketball's a team sport, so you never know what his situation led to versus his situation and why he's producing more than him, even though he's more skilled than him. Like,
I'm glad you mentioned that. I am. And the reason why I'm glad you mentioned that is because I'm going to give you an example. You talk about the eye test. It took me half a season, and then I watched in the World Championships, the FIBA World Championships in the summer of 2011, when I watched Derrick Rose and I watched Russell Westbrook, and I was like, he better than him. He's better. And it didn't take me long when I saw Russell Westbrook and I saw Derrick Rose, and I was like, he is better than Derrick Rose. And I said that. But what started to skew me, what burnt me more than anything, because you know this as well as I do, IQ is a skill because you develop that. When it started to resonate with me that, I don't think this dude is that smart. And my heart was broken over that because I saw somebody ultimately who I thought could not just be the league MVP, could be one of the best point guards ever. But then it came to me that, this dude he's not that smart. And when I found out that he wasn't that smart, now I start going the other way. Now, I ain't know Derrick Rose was made of glass. None of us did. But if we knew that, we would be looking at him differently. When I look at Russell Westbrook, the eye test only took me so far. I had to now see, what is this dude producing? I saw the athleticism. I saw the speed. I saw all that. I'm thinking, he better than him.
Derrick Rose to me is more athletic, and he's faster.
Oh, no way did I think that. When I saw those two, I was like, nope.
Derrick Rose is a stronger finisher. Like he can contort his body. His body control was amazing. His first step was Carmelo Anthony-esque, and I think Melo has the greatest first step of all time. Like,
better
to be honest with you. Oh, yeah. Melo's first step out of the triple threat is disgusting. And granted,
Jay lead you where you standing at.
Jordan taught him that, But
Yeah.
When Melo learned it, my God, Melo's first go watch Melo first step is nasty, man. And he can
Oh,
get
we could talk about Carmelo all day. I can make the argument from 2008 to 2013. He was the best one-on-one player in the game. I
I'm
can make
telling
that
you,
argument.
like
I can absolutely
legitimately.
make that argument, and it's legit too.
Carmelo
That's not something that's ridiculous. That's
when if
legit.
Carmelo got you didn't want Carmelo with the ball in his hand with a live dribble. If Carmelo was in a triple threat, you barbecue. And he loved to get you on that 18-foot, on that elbow,
Barbecue.
18 feet from the basket, and he's calling for the
Barbecue.
ball. I don't want to put it on the ball. It's barbecue.
Barbecue.
We have to
I like
hey,
that.
it's barbecue. Like I'm telling you,
You chicken over here.
y'all got any more? Melo was
Barbecue.
nasty
I
as a
like
triple
that.
threat. But
Absolutely.
I'm gonna give you some guys. Skill over production today, Unc. Skill only, no production. We don't care nothing about that, right? I don't care nothing about that. Who you got, Levine or Bradley Beal? Skill.
I think Zach is a better athlete. I think Bradley Beal is more skilled offensively.
So you think overall player, not just offense. So you think Bradley Beal is more skilled than Zach LaVine, you think?
Yeah, I do.
I
Zach's a better
love
athlete.
me
So
some I love me some Bradley Beal. I was on that hype train when I felt like John Wall was holding them back. Like all my friends know it. When people, a couple of my boys was telling me, hey, Klay Thompson is better than Bradley Beal. I was telling you crazy out of your mind. This one, Klay was averaging 22 a night. I said, you crazy.
what happened? You saw what happened when John Wall left?
That's what's
He
that's
started
what,
leading the league. He started leading the league in scoring.
and
You
that's
saw
what
what
I'm
happened.
saying. And I said that
Yeah.
I made that statement before that happened, and then when that happened, I said, you still think Klay better? Oh
Right.
no, but I didn't know. That's the thing, I did, but Levine is too inconsistent. Bradley Beal can be a bit inconsistent himself. This is a tough one for me. I'm going to say Zach LaVine because of the efficiency, and that's the only reason, because of the efficiency. He's more
And he
efficient
played
than
with the
Beal.
Bulls. He played with the Bulls too, so
And
that helps.
that too. That helped too.
hmm
Jason Tatum or Luka Doncic? More
I think Luke.
skill.
I've already said this in the past. I think Luka is more skilled than Jason Tatum. I don't think Jason Tatum is that far off, but I do think that Luka is more skilled than him.
Luka?
Yes, I think Luka is more skilled than him.
I'm going to take Luka Doncic too. Larry
hmm
Bird or Kevin Durant? Got him thinking.
I think Bird is more offensively skilled than Kevin Durant. Yes, I do. I think he's a better passer. I think he's a better playmaker than
Nasty
Bird
man.
than KD. Absolutely.
That's nasty, man.
hmm
Give me
No
Kevin
doubt.
Durant. Give me Kevin Durant right
hmm
there. Uh
Yep.
skilled player. Give me Kevin Durant, man. I'm gonna take Kevin Durant over Larry Bird. Jordan or LeBron?
Offensively skilled. James. The only thing Jay did, only thing Jay did better than James was score. That's it. He ain't do nothing else on the offensive side of the basketball. Nope. Mm-mm. I stand on that. Me and you, we've gone back and forth with this. And what you try to do, which is interesting, just so you know, folks, my man, what he's trying to do is he tries to trip me up by asking me the same question. He just uses different wording. That's how he trying to trip me up. That's basically what he tries to do. He tries to trip me
Oh
up, but he's still gonna get
man.
the same answer. It's not gonna
Hey,
stop. No.
it's almost like a lightning bulb went off in your head because you thought about it for a minute. Looked me straight in my eyes. James.
Wait a minute. My man trying to trip me up over here. So.
Man, give me Jordan, man. Stop
Of
playing.
course.
Cut it out like a coupon. What you talking about? Give me Jordan. Embiid or Joker?
I think Joker is a little more skilled than he is.
Oh
I think I do.
no.
I think Joker is more skilled offensively.
No.
I do think he's more skilled
You
than
looking at that
Embiid.
passing shit. Damn
Right?
that.
That matters, B. That absolutely matters.
Man.
Absolutely that matters. Hell yeah, that matters.
Oh
No
man.
question. No question
He's
about
more
it.
of a
That
willing
matters.
passer than Joel Embiid, but we got point guards for that shit. They don't have a legitimate point guard. He's probably the point guard for that team. And to me, he plays too much on the perimeter. He bails you out too much, Joker. Even though he shoots efficiently, to me,
Right.
as big as he is, he should be down low, not bailing. Like Shaq said it best. Like, stop bailing these cats out. Like, they like it. A big man like it when you stand like that and they just got to do this. They say, oh, shit. Like, when when you got your back to the basket and you're a threat to score the ball. Man, give me Embiid. I think Embiid is the top 5 most skilled player, defense and offense, ever. Like, I don't think there's many people more skilled than Joel Embiid ever.
Whoa. I thought we were just accounting for offensive. Are we talking about overall skill?
Well, I mean, you started with offense, so you started with offense, so I kept it.
If we talking about overall skill, Embiid is a more skilled basketball player than Joker. No question about that. No doubt.
When I first started it, I was talking about overall, but then you started doing offense, so I started doing offense only.
Okay, my fault.
From here on out,
if we talking about overall, absolutely, I think that Embiid is more skilled. He's better on the defensive end. I think that his box work is better. And when you talk about offensively, I think that Joker is a better passer, which matters, and I think he's a better playmaker. But overall skill set on both sides of the basketball, the edge definitely goes to Embiid.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I mean, offensively, you got an argument because of the passing with Joker, but I just think Embiid is probably the most. If you equate defense to offense, I think Embiid is top 5. I can't name you more 5 complete player than Joel Embiid offensively and defensively. Mobley or Scotty Barnes? Just offense. We're going to stick to just offense.
I think that Scotty Barnes right now, I think Mobley will be.
100%. That's exactly what I was about to say. I think Scotty Barnes right now, Mobley will be, though.
I think he's a franchise player. He's a franchise player, Beast. I do. I think he's somebody that we could build this thing around. Yeah. I absolutely look at him like that.
No doubt.
No doubt.
Dirk, Charles Barkley. Offense only.
Dirk. He was more. Yeah, he was more. Chuck didn't have the mid range. Chuck wasn't able to stretch the D. Chuck wasn't the one-on-one player on the perimeter that Dirk was. I mean, Dirk could shoot the long ball. I don't think that Dirk was Charles didn't show that he could pass. Charles could pass the ball, but I think Dirk was a better passer than Charles. I think Dirk was a better playmaker than Charles. But I think Barkley he was awesome offensively, man. That's tough.
That's why it's tough. That's what I'm saying.
That's tough, yo. Now that I think about it, ooh, that's tough.
He was tough.
Because when I think about Charles, when I think about Barkley in his transition, he was a better transition player than Dirk. No question in my mind. He was definitely a better transition player.
I think Dirk that board. He was flying.
Right. I think Dirk shot the long ball better. I think Dirk.
But Charles Barkley did get better late in his career with the long ball.
Yeah, he did, and I think Dirk was a better shot creator in the mid-range than Charles. Charles played primarily on the box. Charles could shoot the mid-range, but he played primarily on the box. Yeah. So if I was given an edge offensively, it would be to Dirk.
Yeah, same here. Even though I might like Charles Barkley's overall offensive game more because I feel like that finishing, the value that he brings with his finishing was important. But if I had to choose a guy, I would probably take Dirk. He's the greatest shooting big man of all time. Last but not least, KJ, Kevin Johnson, who I think is the most underrated player in NBA history, and Baron Davis. Who you got? Offense only.
I think Baron was a better athlete. I think he was nicer with the pill. He definitely was a better finisher at the rim. I think he was better in transition than KJ. I think his mid-range was better. The problem because KJ will throw it over the top of a big man too.
That's what I was saying. Like KJ athleticism was.
Yeah,
I mean,
KJ
compared
will throw
to
it over
Baron,
the top of a big man too.
They both smaller guys. They both undersized guys. They play above the rim, not as much as Baron Davis to KJ, but KJ will throw it over the top of your head top now. And he was decent with the peel, and he was a great passer. Like, he's probably a better passer than Baron Davis. He's a little bit more efficient than Baron Davis. Baron Davis is my favorite player all time, but KJ, I think, I'm on record. I think Kevin Johnson is single-handedly the most underrated NBA player. in the history of the
Well,
game. I don't think
when I
there's
think
nobody
about
more overlooked than KJ.
well, when I think about a between the legs exchange, KJ got the best that I seen. I ain't seen no. I seen guys with like Tim Hardaway had the
I
killer
was just about to
crossover.
say.
Tim Hardaway got the killer crossover. That's the between the legs, then come back with it. I'm talking about the between the legs and go by you. Nobody was doing it like
Oh
KJ.
yeah,
KJ was
yeah,
blowing your doors off with that.
yeah.
No doubt about that. He was incredible with that. But I think that Baron Davis, I think health was what held him back.
True.
Other than that, he would have been far more superior, not just to KJ, but to a lot of other
Especially on
guys.
the
A
defensive
lot
side
of
of the
other
ball
guys.
too. Baron
A
Davis was
lot of other
he had
guys.
lockup
So
and he led the league in steals.
when I think about overall skill set, I'd have to go with Baron Davis over
Yeah,
Kevin Johnson.
I'm
Which,
not.
by the way, real quick before you go, shout out to Tim Hardaway, who now just got elected into the Hall of Fame. I think Kevin Johnson should be on that ballot.
Facts. Is he? Is he though? Or
No, he wasn't.
he wasn't?
He's not.
Yeah. See, that's the shit I'm talking about, man. He's overlooked. Kevin Johnson been retired for so long now. Why is he not in the
Yes,
Hall
he
of
has.
Fame? Like, this is what I mean when I say that. KJ is so overlooked and underrated, man. He was a dog. He was essential to the success of the Phoenix Suns. I don't know, man. It is what it is. But great topic. I don't want to say great topic. I want to say the number one thing that folks have been talking about all week, Oscars. Chris Rock cracks a joke, and we all know when you got these stand-up comedians and they hosting these shows, the ESPYs, Drake's done it, Peyton Manning's done it, Eli Manning's done it. The Oscars with Chris Rock and all of these former comedians, they come up here and they poke you a little bit. They throw jokes around, they make fun of things that went on throughout the course of the year or a relationship. Whatever they can get their hands on, they going to make fun of it. Well, obviously, Will Smith has been going through some situations with his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. He didn't like what was said because I don't know if Chris Rock knew, but she has alopecia, which is, it's a little disease where it prevents hair growth and it makes hair, your hair fall out. So it's uncontrollable. And at least me, I always thought Jada just liked her hair short. I didn't know she had alopecia. So I'm assuming Chris Rock probably the same way I would. I didn't know, but she does. He says something about the G.I. Jane, who was also had a similar haircut to Jada Pinkett. Will Smith initially laughed. Jada gave him that look, so he felt like he was in defense mode. Smacked Chris Rock live on the Oscars in the face. If that was me, or if that was you, rather, what would you have done in that situation if you're Chris Rock? Honestly, I want to hear what you got to say.
I could say, I would have whooped Will Smith ass. But to be honest with you, we talking about something completely different here, man. I mean, first and foremost, Will Smith is the dude in our neighborhood who he hangs out with us. He the funny guy. But then all of a sudden, we see Will walk up to another dude in the neighborhood and just punch him in the face. And we're like, whoa, where'd that come from? He's never been like that, which means that's some uncharacteristic behavior from him. So what's going on with Will Smith? What's really his problem? I was very disappointed in what I saw with him, man.
So was I.
Very disappointed. I was extremely disappointed because not only was that a big event, right? Not only was that a big event, it's a depiction of who we are now. See, I told you. See why you can't take them nowhere? See why this is exactly who they are. And I don't want that tag on me. I don't want that tag on you because I'm not like that. But in the end, when that's going on, when you're doing stuff like that, you open the door to all of that kind of nonsense. So when I see Will Smith do something like that, I immediately think about my grandmother, God rest her soul, when she said to me, "It's a time and a place for everything." It was the time for that. That wasn't the place. I'll deal with you when we finish this.
Facts.
When we finish this, when we get into the back, I'm going to go talk to you, whether we get into a room and it's just you and me, or whether we got to get whoever we have to get around us. I have no problem with that. But this ain't the time or the place for that. And not to mention, one of the things I found out, because you've been to comedy shows, I've been to comedy shows. If you're going to sit in the front, your ass better be ready to get cracked on.
That was the first thing I said. Don't sit your ass you sitting in the front row with your bald-headed wife expecting Chris Rock not to say a damn thing to you.
You gotta be ready to get cracked on. You
And
have
I
to be.
love the
So
fact that you mentioned your granny say there's a time and a place for everything. For instance, a few years back, somebody said something about Mellow Wife. I forget who it was.
Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett. I knew it was
Kevin
KG. I thought it
Garnett.
was KG. What'd he do?
Kevin Garnett.
He could have swung on KG right then and there. He said, you know what? I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
wait for your ass right outside your bus. You got to come see me. I'm going to be
Yeah.
outside waiting for you. You got to come see me.
And what it would have been, what it very well could have been is, listen, we don't even got to throw hands. Look, my man, that was disrespectful. That was out of line. I don't appreciate how you spoke about my wife. And in the future, we ain't going to have this conversation again.
Facts.
As opposed to running up on stage and smacking this dude at the Oscars on live television. And just so you know, Beast, Chris Rock saved the Oscars. He could have straight flipped out on him.
Yep.
Live television. He could have flipped out on him like, is this dude serious?
Yeah.
He could have swung on him. Now, I've never been in a situation where on live television or something like that has happened to me. So I can't tell you how I would have reacted. What I do know is I know when somebody coming after me, and I know what it looked like. I know when I'm going to have to defend myself. Right. And if that's what that was, I didn't feel that from Will initially because he ain't that dude.
Exactly.
That's not who he is. So when I saw him do that, I'm thinking, what?
But the thing also too, is you gotta be mindful of the situation. Who in the hell thought that man was gonna walk up there to smack you, to smack Chris Rock?
Right.
Not only, even if it was somebody that was prestigiously known for violent behavior, who the hell would think that you would walk up on stage at the Oscars in front of everybody, knowing that you could be not only sued for this, but put in jail for assault? That you would do this live on television. It's not hidden. It ain't like we in the back, we in the hallway, you catch me slipping, boom, and get up out of there. We are live on television. Millions of people are watching us right now. You got the audacity to walk up on this stage and smack the shit out of me in front of everybody? I don't know, and I'm not going to speak on what I would have done, but all I'm going to say is shout out to Chris Rock because he held it down. Because he could have, like you said, he could have screwed the whole show up, but he chose professionalism, and he realized the situation, and he realized what he had to do moving forward. He could have easily took off his mic like, you know what? Y'all didn't do nothing about this. I'm done. I'm gone.
Out.
And it would have been over with.
I'm out. Now he was the one who said it. He was the one who said, let's make sure we remember this too, Chris. He was the one who said, yo, because the cops came to him and they wanted to press, do you want to press charges? And yo, you want to give him a bad day? Chris Rock said, no, let's leave it right where it is right now. Because we could have flipped this thing over right on top of its head.
Definitely
and he handled that. Down. He could have turned this thing completely upside down. I'm so disappointed in Will. And I ain't saying that I'm ready to cancel Will, but what I am saying is I'm taking a step back from Will. I don't deal with you like that like I used to. I'm not out on you, but
you kind of you made me look at you in a different light that you would raise your hand. I seen a meme that said the Oscars host for next year, and it was a picture of Mike Tyson. Like, yeah, let me see somebody pull some shit, and you better laugh at all my jokes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that shit was funny. You know, but you know, Will Smith, man, that was uncharacteristic of you. You're not known as a guy that really stooped to that level. Not only stooped to that level, but you're not really a violent guy. You know, you're not a guy that people look at and say, "Oh, that's Will. Don't mess with him. He's from West Philly." Nah, bro. Like you, like my man say in the grocery store. You're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy.
He the funny dude in the group. That's who he is. He the dude that's telling jokes. He ain't the dude. In fact, he's the dude that's telling you, yo, this dude giving me problems. He ain't the dude that's gonna go deal with that dude.
Exactly.
He's the dude that's telling you that somebody at school bothering him.
Yeah.
That's who he is. So for him to do something like that, like, well, come on, man, what's wrong with you, y'all? You have no idea how much you could possibly set us back doing something like that. That's ridiculous, man.
It didn't look good for the black community.
Cancel him. I'm not ready to cancel him, but I'm taking a step back from Will Smith.
Yeah,
I'm good.
It didn't look good for the African American community. Two iconic figures, and we reacting the way that we reacted. Will Smith, you got to do better than that shit, man. That shit was out of line. Chris Rock, you a real one for the way that you handled it, and you still took care of business and continued on with your night. Last but not least, NBA draft classes, right? Excuse me. The greatest draft class followed by the worst draft class of all time. What you got? Me and my boys used to have these debates for the NFL, but we never really had them for the NBA. But to be honest with you, something's telling me we probably gonna agree with what we both got here. What you think is the worst draft class?
The worst draft class? I'm looking at that 2011 draft class.
Oh,
that was
11.
trash. 11 was trash.
What we had in 11?
Michael Kid. I gotta make sure I gotta get his name right.
Michael Kidd Gilchrist.
Kid Gilchrist. Him. I can't say the Euro's last names. Skidavides. That's him. That Denver took with the number 5 pick.
Valanciunas, you said 2011? This draft wasn't bad, huh?
2011 and 2012 was trash too. Even with Anthony Davis.
I mean, you got Kyrie Irving, who's a Hall of Famer. Derek Williams was garbage. You got Enes Kanter that came out of here. He was solid. Tristan Thompson, he's a champion. Jonas Valanciunas, he's a dog right now. We got Bismack Biyombo.
Which draft class was with Bradley Beal?
That was Bradley Beal. Let me see.
That's the draft class I'm thinking about.
Was it 12?
The one with Bradley Beal. That's the one I'm thinking about.
Oh, this the one. Anthony Davis, Michael Kidd Gilchrist, Bradley Beal, Dion Waiters.
I said 11.
You really can't say that. Look, you got AD, Hall of Famer. Kidd Gilchrist was a bust. Bradley Beal has Hall of Fame potential. Dame Lillard is in this draft. Harrison Barnes. You got Andre Drummond in this draft. I mean, it's Miles Plumlee. The rest of this shit pretty much low key. Gabricio. The rest of this shit garbage, but Satoran.
That one at 80. That draft class and the draft class at 80. Well, 86 was good. That was Ron Harper. That was
yeah.
That was Brad Daugherty. That was a pretty good draft class in 86.
I'm gonna tell you the worst draft class of all time. Damn it, 2000. These
Kenya
boys,
Martin?
Gabricio. You want to hit it? Look, this draft class, Kenyon Martin went 1. Stromal Swift. Y'all don't know Stromal? Stromal could have been a dog.
The Stro Show.
but he was Gabricio, though. Then you had Darius Miles, Marcus Fizer, Mike Miller. I mean, his highlight
Rookie of the Year that year.
Yeah, his highlight, that should tell you something.
Yeah, he won Rookie of the Year that year.
Mike Miller. No, I thought Kenyon won it. Let me see.
It was Mike Miller. Mike Miller won Rookie. He was in Orlando. He won Rookie of the Year that year.
That should tell you something. These boys have it's not one Hall of Famer on this list. That's the best player. I'm like Desmond Mason, Quentin Richardson. He's more known for his podcast. These boys is garbage. Deshaun Stevenson. That's the whole first round. Not a soul. Speedy Claxton. Like, nobody worth. This is the worst draft by far. Hedo Turkoglu is probably the best player in this draft. Hedo Turkoglu.
I think he went like 16 or something like that.
Yeah, Hedo Turkoglu went 16. Yeah.
I think he was 16.
The rest of this shit is nasty, man. It's garbage. Best draft of all time.
84.
96. I gotta go 96. And 84, with Jordan and all of them cats, like that's it produced. I think it was top heavy though. Let me go look at 84 real quick. Let me see what 84 had. I think 84 was more top heavy than anything. Yeah, you produced King, Jordan, Sam Perkins, Charles Barkley, Alvin Robinson, Otis Thorpe. Okay, Kevin Willis, John Stockton. Okay, Bernard Thompson. Okay, it was some decent, but that's about it though. Now you talk about 96. That was what seven guys I named. Now you talk about 96. You got Allen Iverson, Stephon Marbury, Ray Allen, Antoine Walker. Wait a minute. Yeah, this is 96. Antoine Walker, Eric Dampier was Gabricio. You got Kobe Bryant, Peja Stojakovic, Steve Nash, Jermaine O'Neal, Big Z. Like, you had some cats. Derek Fisher came out of this draft.
Yes, sir.
It was some hitters in this draft.
Some real hitters in that draft, no doubt.
I like the next 3. I think 96, 98, and 99. Those were some pretty good drafts.
Yeah.
with the Nets, man. You had Dirk, you had VC, you had Baron Davis, you had KG, you had a lot of cats come out. But let's rein in these
KG
questions from
was
the fans.
KG was the year before. He
95.
was in '95. Yeah, he was in that with Sheed and Stackhouse and KG. Yeah.
Rein them in. Questions from the fans. Let's get the hell up out of here. Any
Yes, sir.
question,
What
whatever
y'all
y'all
got?
got, whatever y'all want to know.
Mm-hmm.
You wild and OG, that's 2013. And Anthony Bennett draft was trash. It was. That might be a close second over the Bradley Beal draft. It only had two cats in that. And that
That one was whack too. Super whack.
Anthony
That
Bennett
2013.
draft had Giannis and Rudy
Oh my
Gobert,
God.
and that was it.
Giannis dropped a 16. I'm thinking to myself, what the hell?
Yeah, like
How the hell he dropped that ball?
because he was premature. Giannis wasn't ready when he came out. He came out at like 18, 19 years old. Like before, most people don't know this, but before Giannis became the Greek Freak, his nickname was the Alphabet because he had so many letters in his last name and nobody could pronounce it. So they used to call him the Alphabet, and then he grew into his stature and they started calling him Greek Freak.
So winning only awards. So I'm gonna start with the league MVP. I think goes to Giannis. The sixth man of the year goes to Tyler Hero. I think the defensive player of the year goes to Giannis. I think most improved goes to DeJounte Murray.
Yeah.
Let's see, what are we missing? I got the league MVP. I got the sixth man of the year. I got the defensive player of the year.
Coach
I
of the
got the
year.
most improved. I got the coach of the year. It's between Spo and the guy from Memphis.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the guy from Memphis, I think. Because I had Bickerstaff for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I did have
all
Bickerstaff for a while. Yeah, I had Bickerstaff for a while, but the guy from Memphis, I think that I think him and Spo.
I
Um,
echo exactly what he said, and that's pretty much all the awards, unless you're talking
mhm,
about yeah, that's it. MVP,
mhm.
defensive player of the year, most improved, coach of the year, six man.
Six
That's it.
man. Yeah.
Do you think Zion will ever recover and be able to play to his best ability? I hope, because Zion is one of my favorite players in the league, and I love to watch him play. He brings a
Hmm.
different type of level of excitement. I'm telling you, he reminds me so much of Neek, man. When I see him move, when I see him walk, it's just he's a heavier Dominique Wilkins to me. I don't know. It's just something about Zion Williamson that I love about him, and he's a walking highlight. I hope so. I can't tell you, but I hope.
Jason Kidd definitely got a shot at being coach of the year. Dallas is in third place right now.
Yeah.
Third place, and a lot of that is due to the fact of what you basically dispelling how you felt about Dirk. Because Dirk had to get on, not Dirk. I'm sorry, Luka had to get on Jason Kidd's page and make him play different than what he was already playing. So he got himself in better shape. He became a better playmaker. Not only did he become a better playmaker, he started not just passing the ball more, he just started looking for guys more and he became smarter. So that definitely helped his game. And Jason Kidd has attributed a lot to that, no doubt.
No doubt about that. Most surprising team this year got to be Memphis. I didn't see
Yeah.
this coming.
Them in Cleveland.
Cleveland too. A
Yeah.
lot of people would say my
Mm-hmm.
Bulls because we was ass last year. And a lot of people didn't think DeMar would work, but 28, 6, and 5 later, here we are. But yeah, let's get on up out of here. W's in the chat if you enjoyed yourself. Shout out to those loyals over there on YouTube, man. Y'all stay pumping them out. Y'all stay telling me how much y'all love our show and what we bring to the table. Shout out to the loyals over here on Twitch. We gonna be bringing them Tuesdays back, but for now, every Friday night, 8 p.m. Central Time, we here live on Twitch. Come join us. If you can't catch us live, it will be on YouTube the following day. So this episode will be up tomorrow morning, probably around anywhere from 10 to 12 o'clock noon. I appreciate y'all having us, and take us home.
Take it.
We out.